Thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you. I completely forgot about that. So at the Mariusz conference in Warsaw, as soon as ChatGPT started capable with doing code, we had a community website that is 20-year-old. So like, no, okay, 10-year-old. It was like Rails 3, no, Rails 2 something, like 2.7. And the goal was to ask ChatGPT to make this legacy site work for the community. So it failed. It didn't work. It started to hallucinate, so we kind of, and because Nick Sutter was there, the guy who did Trailblazer, I cheated the ChatGPT saying blame Nick, that this Trailblazer is not backward compatible, so it's not good. Like, that was a lot of fun. Actually, I'm going to do exactly the same this talk. And the chances that we are successful, very low. Still, 2 years plus, but chances running the good quality code with models are still low. I'm going to be doing two demos, and I will probably need two hands, like fixing something a little bit. So pardon me for maybe like the bad quality. But on the other hand, if you have any questions in the middle as we're doing demo, feel free to raise it so we don't lose it. So the Baltic Ruby happened, as Mariusz said, last week. It was in Riga. The whole idea about Baltic Ruby is a traveling conference for the countries that touches even a little bit, the Baltic Sea. And the next city for Baltic Ruby next year in 2026 is Hamburg, Germany. So how many of you ever been to Ruby Unconference in Hamburg? Raise your hand if you've done that. Wow. 0. That's the reason why they're not going to do it this year. So they decided not to do Ruby Unconference. But for the next year, they will. So next year, Baltic Ruby and the Ruby Unconference happening under the same roof. So I'm inviting everyone to join. Absolutely amazing experience. If you've never done Ruby Unconference, you're going to be amazed. In Hamburg 2026. So check out the news and you will see it. During the Baltic Ruby, we announced a super cool project called Ruby WebRing. Who of you heard about WebRings at all? Okay, now for those who haven't heard, now you know. So the WebRing, that's the 30-year-old technology that's used before Google and all the crawlers and the things happen. So we kind of rebuilt this beast, and I'm inviting everyone to join. So if you write your blog, go to Ruby WebRing, read the manual, you will figure out how it works, but the initial idea is the following. So joining the WebRing gives you a widget at the end. Aha. If something can go wrong, it will. Just give me a second. Because we were doing streaming, and when the screen freezes, it loses the permission to stream. Just give me a second. There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what is a WebRing, right? So the WebRing is an actual ring that links different blocks. So in order to get into the WebRing, you need to register your blog. So if you have a blog related to Ruby, please go and register. So as soon as you make it, then your blog is going to be on the ring. And what WebRing does, it's not doom scrolling. So you're browsing internet, not vertically, but horizontally. So you're moving from the left to the right. So for example, the first site now in the ring is Vilnius RB. And you see here the widget that says, go to the next one. When you go to the next one, it picks the next site from the ring and shows you. So you can read this blog. So you go to the next one. Then you read this blog. The next one. And you can do that until you kind of get to the very first one. So it's, at this stage, it's like a very linear technology. What I'm going to do, if we hit some kind of decent amount of users, we're going to make this technology great again by providing Tinder-like interface. So you swipe right if you like it, swipe left It gives you relevant, of course, LLM-based, like artificial intelligence there, so all this cool stuff is going to be happening there. So don't hesitate, go check it out, register, and if you have any questions, like tweet me or text me, whatever. My name is Sergey Sergyenko. I still use Twitter, but pretty much the same name on all the social networks. I'm the CEO and founder of Cybergizer. Cybergizer is a company, now we're doing AI stuff, having Ruby as well. And everything that I'm going to talk is not related to what we do. So that's a disclaimer. I'm going to be talking about XP, Extreme Programming. Who of you are aware of what is XP? Okay, cool stuff. So XP happened even before Agile went popular. And to my point of view, if you look into the practices that XP brought, there are so many good things as webbing that we can reinvent. So one of the things that I would like to talk today is actually two things. It's TDD and BDD. So the name is like TDD 2.0, but it really doesn't matter because I think the whole history about those XDD ended up that the idea is the same. So we need to have something that gives us the feedback. And as soon as we close in the loop for the feedback, the better or the faster or more performant our application could be and the process could be more reliable. So in order to make it work, we're going to be doing two things. So how many of you heard about Cucumber? Okay, and our spec, I believe, those things. So Cucumber is BDD, right? Our spec is TDD, great examples. I don't know if you know that both of those tools were invented 20 years back, exactly the same place with those two folks. So I'm going to have two demos, how you now can use those beautiful technologies. Who of you actually enjoyed working with Cucumber, by the way? Okay. That's a bit tough. So, yeah, and we will see, and like the whole idea about kind of digging deeper into those topic where can we take something really old and make it to be up to date with all this some cool technology. So let's start with the first one. Let's start with ASOC. So what ASOC said 20 years back. So developers and business stakeholders cannot talk the same language. So that's why BDD and Cucumber with its very cool DSL happened. What they did, they let business or they let product level write executable code in a very, very simple manner using English language. And they say like, okay, now the whole team speaks the same language. So we do requirements, we have acceptance criteria, and developers understand how to execute that. Bingo. See what happened 20 years later. Andre say, okay, so now developers and all those people have no idea how to clearly articulate requirements to the AI agents because they hallucinate. So now we need to have something that is so cool and at the same time so like simple, so anyone can express their thoughts in the models and AI agents or whatever AI gives you back the right answers. All in all, Cucumber brought as a DSL executable specification in a plain English language with kind of some structure, and it gives you like a very high level regression, like a smoke testing, whatever testing you have. Later on, of course, the Selenium driver appeared, people started using RSpec, the capybaras and other things kind of pushed Cucumber out because it was too much, it was too high level. But now, Cucumber in 2025 can make the whole thing different. So if you think about prompts and like prompts that you do, prompting the model and actually asking the agents, the missing part is execution. So we ask over and over again, like build me a green button, then fix the size of the button, do something. Instead, you can say like, do something, then use exactly the same information that you've given to validate that what you created is proper. And let's see how it can kind of actually work, because the structure from the cucumber could be extended. The initial idea given when then could be extended, and here the context leaf. So you can provide as many guardrails as you want, build in your prompts. Your prompts could be versioned as it's a cucumber test. And so for me it sounded like a really cool idea. Why don't we try it out? So in order to make this thing work, as Mariusz, and I truly completely forgot, so that wasn't like a home task that Mariusz said, like, do you remember 3 years back you tried to reincarnate, 10 years old application? I found one application that is 11-year-old, which is the application that were used for the Cucumber trainings, for Cucumber and BDD trainings, and it's Rails. Let's see which one. Not that. Okay. So it has Cucumber features, and those features are, some of them pretty simple. So there are actually 3 features. So adding new movies, it's like a blockbuster, movie library. Is it big enough? Let me know if you. Yeah. So it has just only 3 features. So adding movie, filtering movie, and sorting movie. And those sorting works on the database level. So you actually need to query some data from the database. I tried to kind of update the application, and I failed, of course, because it's even the application is hard. You need to do a lot of kind of manual stuff. So what I did, I deleted all the code. I kept only Cucumber features, and I said, now you, like AI cursor, read the cucumbers, understand the logic, implement it, and then, as soon as you think it's done, run your cucumber, and until it's all green, iterate. Easy. And so from the couple of tunings, I was able to kind of get this one. So I have this application with Cucumber. So it picks it up. It had all the scenarios green, and I thought, okay, so what if I just go and run it? What if it would give me? So give me the app. Bam! So this one was kind of done, and as you can see here, it provided the user authentication. It has some filtering, as it was described in the features, and those filtering database based. It has sorting, again based on the database. So it's kind of querying this thing, and recommendation. So 3 features were completely implemented with 0 question asked and 0 code fixed. It took 30 minutes, fairly speaking. So the agents were talking to it, like it just was simple cursor agent. It was talking to itself, saying like, good job. Oh, now I see the issue, let's fix that. That was kind of nice looking. So, and before shifting to the next demo, let's kind of do the same again. So I've already copied the feature spec. Let's have the prompt that I used to do for the previous one. So the prompt is pretty simple. And let's do the cursor thing. So there is like the features that we inherited from the initial one. Let me see if I can. So what do we ask? Read Cucumber, create Ruby Rails, use existing features, so it's not cheating, because sometimes it wants to fix test instead of fixing the code. So I need to make a test spot, so I fix the test. Create like a simple database. Don't ask me any questions. That's very important. So I don't want to be engaged. And before finishing, run Cucumber and make sure that no green, no pending specs are in place. So let's run this thing. Let's see it understands, and then we'll shift to the second part of the demo. So it's reading first feature, filter feature, suggestions feature, and just to make sure it's go. Okay, it's going. Cool. And yeah, that's the idea about Cucumber. Let's see how it turns out. So the next thing is about another dude who is on the photo, which is Stephen Baker, who the creator of RSpec. And I first met this guy during Yuruko 3 years back in Vilnius. And he used to say about himself that he is the most famous people who you've never met or you have never heard. Even though if you go and check it out, the number of downloads for RSpec is more than Rails. So downloads for RSpec is more than Rails. So after talking to Steven and kind of having some fun around RSpec, because nowadays he's pointing that it's better to use everything that is built in. So he's saying, do not use RSpec. Use whatever is built in for the tools that you use. So all the external things are wrong. We kind of started playing with RSpec and the local models. And the local models were, of course, the Llamas family and the Llamas family with the inference of Llama CDD. And we come up to the project called RSpec Llama. So the RSpec Llama is kind of the plugin for RSpec that you can use, and it has a number of interfaces that you can just plug in whatever model you want, and then you can use this non-deterministic approach included into your RSpec coverage. It was kind of fun, not a big deal, but after some times thinking about what else could be done in this model, we came up to the idea that maybe if we can use LLM for testing, maybe we can think about LLM as a new database. So it is something that lives next to the application, so you don't need to go and ask whatever the platform. So it's local, if it's small enough, and maybe we can load it with some functionality that's kind of very high level, that usually takes some time, it's not like too boring to kind of implement. And we started kind of looking for different community, and we found this community called AI Foundry. So the AI Foundry community, they are focusing, they are kind of building, how to say, maybe analogy is better. So they say Hugging Face is a GitHub, so we want to be a GitLab in the world of AI. And they kind of started building their infrastructure around local models. So we kind of started partnering with them, and actually on the Berlin Buzzwords conference that happened in Berlin and still happening, they had their own track. I made a talk, and I told I'm coming here, so they given me some hats with their logos. And yeah, if you want to get this hat, I don't know, how many wants to get this hat? Cool. So anyone who wants, come and grab. Otherwise, we can figure out how to raffle. So yeah, I don't want to bring it home. I have my own. But the whole idea was, let's take the application, let's put the model next to it, so it's local, it's small enough, but what it can do, which features we can do with this local model. And this demo is going to be about using RSpec Llama, so it's a local model, and I call this approach looks good validation. So we kind of use two things. So we use for testing and measures, and we also can see how this model can kind of interact in a runtime with the application. So let's see what do we have here. So we have a very, let me know if I can make it bigger. Very simple spec. We include the RSpec validator. It provides this AI validate feature. And then we have a couple of scenarios. So we want to test user form. So it's a user, email, and a password. And we want to make it at a very, very high level. So in this case, I played a little bit with it. So let's see what is the current state of this situation. So it runs, check the model, see it fails, some of those is valid, okay, not a big deal. And let's see what's happening. So it says for the first scenario, which is supposed to be valid, name is missing the last name. Okay, so name is missing last name. Let's see this one, which is not valid, and the emails and everything is valid. So let's see how the actual code looks like for this part. So the user model is pretty simple. So there's kind of nothing in it. And in order to make this thing work, we have a, sorry. Yeah. In concerns, we have the validation conditions that we inject into the form object. So before validating that, it gets the condition that we would like to have from the model and ask the matcher from the model whether there is a last name, first name, and the last name present. And let's take a look. So let's see the behavior. In this situation, maybe it can gives us a little bit more hints how this the things should work. And again, it works but both ways, right? So it works as the matcher for. So this one's still doing something. Okay, that's good. So localhost. So this one called looks good validation. So what looks good means? So it, on a very high level, it uses those concerns just to do like a quick smoke. So let's see. We provide a user, create a user model. We do some fields, hit create. It goes to the model, and we see exactly the same output as we had in the test. So the name missing the last name. So let's add the last name. So now it's happy, but we have some extra conditions for the email. But it's not that cool. So we can actually do exactly the same using regular expressions. Like having actually 2 lines of code would solve the whole problem. But let's make this thing a little bit interesting. So for example, what if we tell this thing now, that we want this name not just to be first the last name, but to be the real name. So this is not real name. So now the validation says, no, this is not right. Okay, let's go further. So now this name is supposed to be okay, but what if we want to make it a female name, right? So what if we want to keep the application not letting just any name, that should be female name. Let's see now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So now it is not a female name, so let's check and make it female name. Different language. Okay, let's make it the real name, female name, Polish name, let's say. Real. Okay, who can tell me a real female Polish name? Maria. Like this one? And the last name. Any Polish name? Last name? Popular? Mariusz, do you mind if I use your last name? Okay, sorry about that. Not real. Maria is not real. Okay.
Marta.
Marta. There we go. So now you can see that the flexibility of using non-deterministic approach for tests can do like a very high level, like smoke test. You cannot rely on that, but it saves tons of time for you to implement like pretty complex matchers, like name, languages, dictionaries, different conditions, so on and so forth. But as soon as you add the entity of the model sitting next to your application, you can use validation with exactly the same logic, and because it's available in the runtime. So now, if we're taking jokes aside, and imagine this one validating your passwords, right? And you're trying to log into the system. You provide your email and the password, and you make one typo in the password. So the model looks at the password, compares to the database, sees like, there's just one digit left. Maybe that's the guy. It was a typo. I will let it in. See? And that's so cool, right? Because if you consider negative scenarios, the model, even when it is provided with the whole right information, can provide non-deterministic behavior exactly the same as TSA agents on US. Visa to US doesn't mean you can enter the country. It can stop you and ask some questions. Say, no, that password is not right, even that was right. So this thing kind of gives you way more flexibility in the behavior of building an application that we used to do with the traditional one. And of course, providing the high-level thing, you can shoot the negative scenario of testing. So you can get in the whole model, like the whole object, with unstructured data, and asking the model, does it look good for you? That's why it looks good validation. If it looks good, whatever, you go and do your thorough testing like you used to do. But if there is something that is not right, it's no, it doesn't look good to me, so that's the point for you to go and check it out what's happening. So let's see what this beast is doing. So, summary. Run cucumber to verify all tests. Probably. Let's see if it's complete. The cucumber.
Can you trust the AI?
Let's check it out. So let's do bets. Who thinks it's gonna work?
No.
You raise your hand. You think it's gonna work?
Let's be optimistic and say yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. See where we are. Yeah, I did quite a lot of those demos. So this one's demo 21. Oh, code. Sorry. Coding 21. I'm sorry. So, yeah, we're gonna check coding 21 and let's run cucumber here. Okay, so some of the feature implemented, some not. The job is not complete, and that's bad. Okay, let's continue because I still have a couple of slides. Yeah, guardrails needs to be done a little bit thorough. So there is a really nice article that you can find on this link. It's about how to use non-deterministic approach and LLMs for testing. I will provide this link later. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be the QR code, but for some reason it's missing. But the idea is that there is the pretty good and stable way for building tests, but the main thing of using the non-deterministic approach for the test is that you should never let AI write tests for you. So now people, for some reason, saying like LLM is great, they can write the test, so I shouldn't do the boring work. So the test, that's the only thing that we should own. AI can provide whatever code, whatever infrastructure, whatever it can handle, but the test, that's the last frontier that we can do. So in this situation, if we're gonna unboxing this idea of extreme programming to nowadays, and the test-driven development will turn that I will give the AI or the model or the black box tests, and the black box will write the code for me. So behavior-driven development, which is Cucumber-like or whatever, that prompts should be executable. Maybe English is not the best language to interact for the execution of the models, but we'll start with that. And what do you think pair programming will become? So if this one is we write test, AI implements, BDD, it's executable prompts that it can validate itself. So what would be the pair programming then? Who can guess? Pair programming was two people coding it next one to another one.
I imagine it involves some form of intervention when it starts.
I think it's when one AI writes code and another is doing programming. So that's why we're kind of pushing back to the other side. That's kind of it. Thank you very much for your attention, and let's check it out if this one thing is gonna. Okay, it's still doing. I'll keep it running. I have another one just to show you how this one would look. So see, or not to waste your time. Okay, so that's the backup slide, just in case if the AI won't complete in time. I have this slide just to, even though AI will not probably replace software developers soon, but yeah, we need to keep an eye on that. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Sergey. Any questions?
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's really cool what you've shown with the validations that are using LLMs to do the job, and the testing. Do you have any idea like the impact on performance that this would have for like running test suites, for instance, if everything is using LLMs all the time?
Infrastructure-wise? You mean for the infrastructure?
Yeah.
So the minimum capable model that you can use for matching would be like 8 bits quantized, whatever NVIDIA instruct model you can find on Hugging Face, which would require you kind of, I don't know. And if you do like inference for CPP, you don't need to do the GPU-based machine. So RAM is cheap as hell, and you can get the CPU machines running. So I wouldn't say it would make impact on the pricing point for the performance, but at this stage, it definitely, like if you count number of hours, like man hours that you have to put in order to make like a pretty simple and trivial task, comparing to the machine hours running in the runtime for your testing suite, I think it's the huge gap. So there is no big impact for the infrastructure from my point of view.
Because like even like currently there's some test suites that can take around 10-20 minutes to run. And
Those are bad test suites.
Hmm?
I mean, okay.
Yeah, I mean, or they're very, very large, like they can't very large.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in this situation, that's not the problem of LLMs, that's the problem how you structure your testing suite. So, I mean, 20 minutes is not that bad. I know companies who has testing suite taking hours. That's bad. So yeah.
Alright, and just another question. You were saying that for you, pair programming is going to be AI is ruining other AI's job. Have you already implemented some things like that? We've tried some things internally, but I just wanted to know if you had tried.
You mean like multi-agent thing?
Yeah.
I was building. No, we didn't implement any custom multi-agent application, but now we are heavily looking into MCPs, which is one of the answers to your question. So MCPs can help with this approach.
Okay, go.
Thank you. Yeah. Any more questions?
Anyone else? Great, thank you so much, Sergey.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm happy to participate.